Today's project might take me a little bit more time than a week to finish, but I do want to take care of one thing first. See, this portal that's sitting out here in the middle of the world, some of you might be wondering why I haven't decorated yet. The reason is that I just don't think this is going to be the final place where the portal is going to live. I want to put it up there in the new tunnel. Part of the way down the tunnel, I have these doorways, just empty places where I can move into for a project that we're going to work on a little later today. And then every other one is just a decorative frame. I think I want to move a portal. The reason I want to put one of the main portals here is because the big project that I've been teasing you guys about is a storage room, a gigantic storage system, an automated system, and I want to put it here in this mountain. We definitely need to have a portal that is super near where our storage system is going to go. So I've been thinking about it a bunch, and I have finally decided on this doorway right here to be where the new portal is going to go. I actually grew out of the storage space over in my starter home a long time ago and started expanding out into the village with the trading villagers, and the storage is all over the world right now, and that is definitely not what I want. All that being said, I'm kind of curious where the portal is going to go if I put it up here in the tunnel system. So let's give it a check. I hope it's not someplace horrible and gonna ruin my plans for the Nether hub. This is literally where the other one comes out. Does that mean that they're connected and gonna stay connected? No, I bet I go into the old one when I go back through this thing. Yep, okay, so first I'm gonna have to take this one down, and then it looks like the other one might go through right into that spot, which is great because it's right in the middle of where I want everything to go in the Nether when I build in the future. Now that the other one's broken, let's give this a try again. I'm crossing my fingers that it still goes into the main area. That worked out really well. Okay, well, it's going to be a lot of episodes before we really want to work on another hub, but at least now we have the center point right here in what will be our storage area. I'd call it a room, but it's actually going to be a series of rooms. So here's the plan that I have so far. I say that because the plan is evolving as I go, but as you come into the room, we'll have all of one theme in the room area, and I don't like this beam going across. Just don't mind me. I'm editing as we go. Over here with the chests, they'll be lined up where we have a little bit of a row with stairs so that I can put the item frames and we can have the label that goes, what's in it, and then the chests go below, and then we'll do the Impulse SV item sorter in the back. This is my favorite sorting system. I've used it many times because I love doing storage rooms, and this is just one slice is what it's called, where this is all of the technical things and the redstone that goes into programming one item to go where it's supposed to go. That's right, if you've never done auto sorting before, it is an enormous amount of work and resources and space to put everything together, but I am committed because I want this resource area to be one of the coolest in the whole world and have pretty much everything. Even if we don't auto sort everything, I do want to store pretty much everything over here for use in the future. I want the input for this system to be at the very front of the tunnel, and maybe even an input on both sides of the tunnel, so we'll put a chest and a system that kind of goes down there so that it'll go all the way around and in through all the storage rooms. And then the part I really want to focus on is a storage room that fits the theme of the area. So like here, everything to the left can be nether storage and maybe something else to the right. We can label the doors accordingly to keep track of things on this side of the tunnel. Okay, I've been bopping around a little bit and kind of coming up with a design that I felt like was going to be good for the area so that we could get behind everything and also have room for storage, not just down below, but maybe in barrels on top. I haven't fully decided yet. I really want to put a mock-up together and then kind of use that as the base. You can see there's a little door to kind of go back easily to get through everything. And I can also get down here to the tunnel where the input system is. And for some reason, I feel like it's good to have access to all elements of any type of auto-sorted storage, because if something goes wrong, I can kind of get in and maintenance fix it. Not that they ever really go wrong too much. I find that this is a very dependable system for auto sorting. Alright, so I've been thinking about both design and function, and I feel like another row of chests on the other side of the room might be great. The problem is that the system for sorting is really bulky, right? We talked about this before. There's a lot of things here that has to be behind the chests. That means we're going to have to push the entire room forward, what looks like 6 spaces. I was counting it out. I need 6 spaces and then the chests that we can put behind a wall and hide all the redstone away. And that means my room is it's just not big enough. I'm going to have to take a lot down. After taking everything down, I need to dig out a whole bunch more space, and then we'll work on a new model and see if the new design makes me happy. I really want to get this right. Storage rooms are one of those places you spend a lot of time in, and I can't afford to just make it a willy-nilly sort of design. It's gotta be just exactly what is gonna be, well, whatever makes me happy. It has to be exactly what is going to make me happy. Then we'll continue the design for the other rooms. I made so much progress, but you probably can't tell, but here there's a chest tucked up into the roof here so that when I click on it, I can add any blocks that I want into the storage system. So this will be the enter into the storage system area. If we go down the hall then and pop around the corner, you'll see that I have finished up some decorations in the room and really expanded on what I was doing before. I've got at least one area of the room where we have storage on both sides, and we'll probably have storage on both sides further in other rooms a little bit more, but back behind, here is that path that kind of inputs the items and goes past, well, at least the front of the room. I'll have to go in and wrap it all the way around the entire storage area to come through the back part of the room for now, but that's okay. I want to show you towards the front of the room. The decoration here has trapdoors hiding that whole system with the hoppers. You can see here where I put the brown ones and the spruce over the pole. I thought that was really clever. And then of course the birch ones are covering up the rest, and I like the way the birch just look interesting all by themselves. But then I've arched this thing over here, and we've got the arch set up over what's going to be the doorway, and I'm just feeling really good about the space in the room. Plenty of room to work. Now all I need to really do is focus on decorating. The first thing I'm going to do is come in and fill the floor with the netherrack and maybe mix in some other matching blocks, and then we'll decorate it. I finished putting the floor in and sprinkled in a little bit of mangrove wood, which I really like the way that matches color tone wise, and in general this room and the space is in pretty good shape. Now I'm just going to add in the decorations. Oh, and then of course the items for storage. So that's what I'm going to do. I've decided instead of doing this far along on all the rooms, I'm just going to fully finish this entire space and then we'll do the next one. I am so happy with the way that the nether storage area came out. I love all the details. I really did change the ceiling up. I put dark gray wool and then tinted glass over the top, so it's kind of 2 layers deep. I really enjoy the way that the room feels like the items that are being stored here. It has a little bit of that overgrown type of element to it from all the different biomes sort of mixed together. In the middle of the room, I put together sort of a structure just to kind of give it some more of the blocks and the theme that I'm going for. I don't know if that makes sense to you guys, but it just feels right to me. It feels like it's going to be a fun place to come and use these items. I finished digging out the big, huge area for storage, and I've already discovered a little bit of a mistake. If I'm going to utilize that front space, which is why I moved everything out, I'm going to have to move the archway, the doorway from over there to over here. You know what? No big deal. I'll just move everything around. Otherwise, the next part of the plan is to figure out the different sections. And I've decided to really go by the way that the room divides up evenly with the doors so that I can kind of see where the different sections are. Once I know the size, then I'll decide which items are going to go in it, because I have a lot of different themes in mind and I want to make sure the right theme fits the right type of space. So that's going to be a whole slow, detailed type of planning. I'm just going to take care of that now so that we have a better plan, and then we can start doing the fun part, putting the rooms together. Before I can do any of that, I need more supplies because creating redstone for the item sorter is very expensive. I'm all the way down in the deep slate level at the bottom of the world because I'm trying to mine for redstone. The system that I'm using takes a ton of redstone and it's hard to find in great quantities. As I'm digging through the deep slate, just one channel at a time, I think I'm finding more diamonds than I am redstone, so I might have to look into other methods of getting it as well. For now, I'm just really glad I have a fortune pickaxe because it enables me to get more ore out of everything when I do find it. Although, I seem to be coming across more diamonds than redstone lately. Speaking of, not that I mind the diamonds, that's awesome, but I'm looking for redstone. I managed to fill in the last little bit of redstone I needed with the cleric with trades, although I did have to trade with him for a few days to get what I needed. All said and done with, I think redstone is ready. The other limiter that I'm dealing with is iron for all of the hoppers, and so I do have an iron farm, and you know what? I just let the game run for a couple of nights overnight until I had everything that I needed. That is, of course, what the iron farm is for. With all the resources gathered, I decided it was time to start working on the actual mechanics of the storage unit, and that's all the repeaters and hoppers, the torches, all the stuff you need to actually make sorting work. If you're curious about sorting systems, this is the Impulse SV storage system, and there are so many videos online. In fact, you almost don't need a video. You can just do a Google search for a picture and make it work. Remember, they're expensive, but not too hard to put together. Although don't ask me how it works. Something about how long a signal takes to compare an item. You know. I'm good at following redstone tutorials. Not so good at inventing them myself. I seriously underestimated how much work it was going to be to complete this storage project. If you look behind the scenes, there is a ton of work and resources, like you saw, just to get it going. I do finally have it in place. All of the items and signs, the redstone, everything's where I want it to be, but it's just in a basic structure. It is certainly not very pretty yet. Just the time it took for me to move all the items into place and decide where they were going, this is just 1/3 of the route. You can see how long this goes, and I switched up and did some nice gray on top, but just so it wasn't completely blank. But really, this is this is not even a third. There's another section. Ignore the overflow chests over here. Sometimes I just keep a few things behind the scenes. Mostly just the amount of time. Okay, I can't underestimate how much time it took to get it to this point, and I haven't even started decorating yet. You see, what I didn't show on camera is that after putting all the items in, I realized one big hallway wasn't going to be enough space, and I had to dig out room on the other side for an entire another row. The good news, of course, is that I have enough stone now and resources for a ton of other things to come, and I'm feeling awesome about where everything is, but I'm ready to get in and give this area the themes, the interest, all the decorations. That might also have something to do with the fact that I've been working on the item collection and the storage system. And let's face it, decorating is my favorite part of Minecraft. At the end of the whole entire second row that I put together, I want to put a furnace system here, something where I can smelt items easily if I'm in my storage unit. And then there's an area at the very back that has the extra items, things that actually don't go in the item sorter. As much progress as I made and as big as it isn't technically every item. Oh, there's also an extra room back here I didn't show you. This is where I'm going to put the enchanting setup for the storage area. All right, the time has come to make this place look spectacular. I don't think I've ever been quite so excited to show you guys a final area in the game. Here you can see I've put a couple little things down just to remember what's inside the doorways, and the whole place is finished. I'm going to show you this room first because you've seen it already. All the nether stuff with the dangly vines and the cute little colors in this room really kind of set the pace for all the rest of them. Through the first entryway, we go into the dirt, the clay, and over here I added just a little ice in the corner to give the ice and snow a little bit of character, and I love the way it feeds into the colors in the rest of the space. And then the next room is epic. I went ahead and used a little bit of blue wool on the top so that it would have kind of a sky vibe with the tree, this big beautiful tree in the middle of the room. I definitely wanted the room with the wood and the leaves to just be full of leaves everywhere, just climbing up and down the walls, and then of course bamboo in many places because the bamboo is in here too. I'm gonna pop out this doorway real quick. You can see right here I've got wood on the floor so I can remember, and the signs on the side, and you just kind of walk through into the world. This room next is the cave area. I wanted it to be a combination of a mine shaft and a dripstone cave, as well as just deep down and mining into the stone of the earth. My favorite part of the room are these little water pools everywhere, and then the dripstone has drips now and then, so you kind of have that wet feel, that deep, dark, dank type of an environment. The room for mob drops is next, and I just wanted this one to be a little bit more playful because it really does have a lot of the different mob heads that I've picked up in the game, as well as some of the micro blocks. But I have just a few of all sorts of the different mobs. This area I went ahead and decided to use a bright yellow and orange because I just wanted it to be a little bit silly. If we pop in through the back, you can see, don't forget, this entire area also has the auto stuff behind it in sort of the maintenance area. Decorating actually took a lot less time than making it functional. This last space in the row are just the bulk areas that I didn't want to put in the auto sorter, so it's a little bit generic and it may change up as I need it. But I'm going to go ahead and start at the very beginning, and we're going to go down the other side. First up is the calcite and amethyst room. This is actually a pretty important space for my world because the amethyst are a big part of the lore. They're part of the storyline we've created in the world. After the amethyst, we move into the desert. And I actually don't even have a desert yet, but I definitely know I'll get there someday. And I wanted it to have a really cool floor where we could almost look down at the desert, but without necessarily having to walk over the desert. And just dangled a few things down to give the room some cool character. The glass floor worked particularly well because I also stored the glass in this area. And then there's just a little hallway into our beautiful park. This is just our garden of lush flowers and wilderness. Everything green and amazing and beautiful is in here, including the moss and all of the grass and vines. You can see I've actually got a space over here to grow the vines. If I grab the clips out, it just crawls all over the wall. And instead of stopping it, I thought, oh, I'll just let it go and come harvest the vines here, you know, if I need them. That also makes it super easy to turn around and store the vines directly in their spot. I'm not going to put a lot of farms in the area, just, you know, the vines. Meanwhile, the room looks overgrown and green, which is exactly what I was going for in this particular space. But I'm going to go ahead and put these away because I want to show you a couple rooms that I didn't put in the speed build. The next area on the list is actually down this hallway. It doesn't have all of its decorations yet, and that's why I didn't put it in the speed build. This is where all the prismarine blocks will go from an underwater monument, and then also the deep dark. And even though I found those, I haven't been down that far much yet, so I don't really have very many of those blocks. In fact, I have almost none of them. The next room is very utilitarian. This is the redstone and tools, and I really didn't want too much decoration in here. It just has a few blocks back and forth, and then good room for extra storage. This is where I just kind of come gear up, or if I have technical things that I'm working on, rockets, bone meal, ladders, stuff like that. Since it was kind of generic, I just gave it a really simple floor, and I didn't feel like the speed build was interesting. But this next room is epic. It is where I put all the ores, and it also has a little bit of a lava farm because I put in a giant smelter. It has good backup space for a lot of things, but iron, gold, copper, diamonds, coal, all of that kind of stuff is in here, and there's extra room for when we get new things in the next update. I wanted this room to be a little bit dramatic, but also big and open, and so it has a lot of light sources from the ceiling. I actually moved the ceiling up a block higher just to give it a little bit more of that grand open space. And then the furnace, this is a very small auto smelter, but it's gonna work great for me if I'm working in the area. The last boxes down here are things that didn't sort into the rest when it was going through the system, and I just pop across the hallway and put them in the boxes. That's why it's where it is. The last room for my storage area isn't connected to the rest of them in the same way. It's separated because it's also an enchanting space, and I really wanted it to have a little bit more of a tight-knit, mystical vibe. But the storage does continue around, and this has all the lapis and the books and the bookshelves and everything that I might need for enchanting, which is really convenient because it's on a different side of the world. Also on the side of the world where I will be working a lot in the future, I am going to do a big project, and this is just a sneak peek at the valley over here. I'm waiting until I have some other things finished before we pop out, but I have big plans for what goes on the other side of the tunnel. Thank you for coming on this journey with me. I hope you guys enjoyed this tour of my storage room, and I'd really love to hear which of the areas was your favorite. Until next week, have the best Minecraft day.